Well, guys, I lost both of my legs in a terrible accident, but that's not really the main course of today's story. No, it's about my wife. Well, I should call her my girlfriend because she was going to be my wife until she realized me not having legs, I can't really work, so I can't provide for her what she needs. So she decides to do something I never thought my future wife would do.
Hey, I'm Lucas, and I lost my legs in an accident. Sorry for the intro. I wanted to get your attention. Anyways, let's begin my sad life story. I'm 29 and was about to marry my fiance who's 23 when I got into an accident. Before all this happened, I was just your average guy working as a mechanical engineer and earning a decent living. Well, that's where I met my fiancée, let's call her Beth. She's the front desk clerk, so I always see her jolly smile during work days. Anyways, as I'm earning decent amounts of money and trying to be a good big brother, I support my younger sister who's attending university. We lost both of our parents back during COVID, and a couple of years back, that's when I stepped up to provide for her. I also send money to our relatives back in Mexico. And in my free time, I study software development since I've heard that the salary in the tech industry is high. I was hoping I could incorporate software development into my career, or just completely shift my career altogether. Now, back to Beth. Even though that we see each other almost every day, we hadn't really talked much. It's always just the casual, hey, hi, I live in an apartment close to my workplace, and I've been planning to go to a gym nearby. Since I live close to my workplace, which is literally 100 steps away, by the way, I noticed that I gained a lot of weight. I finally decided to hit the gym to get back in shape, and that's where I got the chance to talk to Beth. As it turns out, Beth also lives in an apartment building close to mine, though it's a bit further away from our workplace. We often see each other after work or every weekend, so we can't help but have a conversation as we were workmates. We discovered that we both shared the same relationship status. We were both single and ready to mingle. We exchanged numbers to see if we would hit it off. Beth and I found ourselves going on a date, after a date, after a date, and spotted each other in the gym, basically becoming best friends. We tried different restaurants in town, explored the local park, and even had trips and went to nearby towns. Our relationship grew pretty deep. We shared stories and laughter about our lives, and we told each other our dreams and goals. Before we knew it, we were already on our 10th date. And it became clear to me that there was something special between us. I had to ask her to be mine. I wanted our 10th date to be memorable and special, just like her. So, I decided to plan a visit, a surprise. I arranged for a romantic hot air balloon ride because I think we're both adventurous, and given the past dates we went to, the breathtaking views and the sense of the adventure in the air seemed like the perfect backdrop to ask Beth a question that had been on my mind for a while. As we were soaring in the sky, under the setting sun, that's where I asked Beth to be my girlfriend. The moment was very simple, but it was unforgettable. The moment marked a new chapter in my lives, or our lives together. In our 4th month of being in a relationship, I asked Beth to move in with me, and she was thrilled by the idea, and to be honest, I was excited too. But as much as she wanted to, her parents were completely against it. And I mean completely, because we were not married yet. Beth is from the Philippines, and I remember that she's told me how their culture had a strong tradition of getting married first before living together. That's where I got the idea to marry her. I started working my butt off, putting in overtime at my job just to save up for the most beautiful engagement ring that Beth truly deserved. I wanted to make it a moment she would cherish forever. Of course, I also wanted to impress her family. Well, Beth always wanted to go to Japan to see the cherry blossoms bloom, which was from late March to early April, if anybody wants to know. So the engagement ring was inspired by a cherry blossom in full bloom, with a rare pink sapphire center stone and diamond petals that shimmer like morning dewdrops, and a band that was intricately carved into a helical shape. Anyways, I planned on proposing to Beth in our 6th month together. Right from the get-go, I knew Beth was the one I wanted to spend my life with. She was everything I could have ever hoped for. I just knew I could not let her slip away. To make this proposal extra special, I decided to revisit the place where it all began, and to also commemorate the day my life changed when I first asked her to be my girlfriend. I planned everything a month before the big day. I invited her to go shopping. About a week before the big day, I took Beth out for a surprise shopping spree, and she'd been eyeing this particular outfit, and I secretly took note of it. I wanted her to feel extra special, so I made sure to buy that outfit for her. I also just went ahead to treat her to a mani-pedi. And then came the big day. I hired a professional photographer who will also ride a hot air balloon. I wanted this proposal to be something that we could look back on for years to come. Well, based on the start of my post, Beth agreed to be my wife. We planned to be married on an anniversary, which I think was pretty cute. Months passed, and we were all excited and busy preparing for the wedding. I was putting in extra hours to prepare for the family I'm now building. The wedding planning was both exciting and exhausting. We spent countless hours selecting the perfect gowns and suits. Designing the invitations and tasting various cakes, everybody was excited. One day, about a month before the wedding, I had to check out a potential venue for our reception after wrapping up a long day at work. There were problems with the previous venue that we had to look for a new one. Anyways, looking back, I can't quite explain why I felt the need to go right then, even though I was absolutely exhausted. Maybe it was the thought of saving time, and I don't want to allocate a day to just visit the place or just my eagerness to see everything come together. I really don't know, but yeah, that was stupid. On my way there, I managed to smash into a parked car. The crash was brutal, and the price I paid for being stupid was both my legs. It was like a life sucker punched me when I least expected it, and suddenly I felt my life change for the worse. How I wish I always felt my legs. Kidding aside, fortunately I didn't hurt anyone, and I crashed into a residential area so my bystanders were able to call an ambulance. I was rushed to the hospital, and when I woke up, my legs were nowhere to be seen. Of course, I cried my eyes out. How am I supposed to live without a single leg? I mean, damn, the moment was surreal. I really did not expect something like that to happen to me. Well, who else would want or expect something like that? Anyways, I felt very tired and my energy was gone. Like my legs. Sorry, this is my way of coping. I was confined in the hospital for weeks. Beth was by my side every day after work and the whole day when she wasn't. She helped me eat, clean myself, entertain me, and all. She helped me with everything, and I really appreciated having her. I don't know how I could have survived without her, to be honest with you. I mean, since she's pretty much stuck with me, she would often video call with her parents who were in the Philippines. They also offered their sympathies and told me that they'd pray for me. Honestly, it was very sweet, but then one night Beth had a call from her parents. They probably thought that I was asleep, and they mostly talked in Tagalog, but I caught some parts of their conversation. They asked her if she was wanting to marry me still, now that I would not be able to provide for her. I was appalled, but did not know what to do. Do I wake up and confront her parents, or do I continue to pretend I'm sleeping to hear their conversation? Of course, I chose the latter. Beth told them that she'll still be wanting to marry me, but her parents were very persistent and were convincing her to just leave me. They told Beth that I would just be a burden to her and that I could no longer provide for our family. I was trying my best to stop shaking from all the anger that I'd been feeling. I hoped Beth did not notice it. Beth just sighed and told them to keep it down as I might hear them. Too late, Beth. After that day, Beth visited me every other day to twice a week, and then she just stopped visiting me at all. Sometimes she was responding to my calls and texts, and I was left in the dark, and it just simply felt horrible. I replayed our last conversations in my head, searching for any clues or signs that might explain our situation. But nothing made sense, and I could not come up with any valid reason for her to be acting this way. It was then that I started to piece together the discussions I'd overheard between Beth and her parents. The more I thought about it, the more I began to suspect that they had somehow managed to poison Beth's mind and were able to convince her not to marry me. Most of the time, I was alone in the hospital. My friends would come and visit sometimes, while my brother only visits twice because he was busy with school. Wow, my relatives can't afford to stay and take care of me. I appreciate their efforts, but it would be nice if Beth was also there. Although there was no official breakup, I assumed that we were over because she abandoned me. I was very depressed and did not know what to do. So I may have posted on my Instagram story that she should return the engagement ring I gave her, and that she should not run away from me just because I lost my legs. I figured that she would reach out to me if she knew that I would be embarrassing her. She called me because of my post and called me an absolute a-hole. Most of our relatives and friends also called me an a-hole, and what I did was very immature and petty. What can I do? That's the only way that she would respond. I'm at the hospital waiting for her to reach out, so I ask you guys this. Am I the a-hole? Top comments from the original post. Comment number 1. While I don't like what your fiancé and her parents did, I don't blame them for thinking like that. If she doesn't want to be burdened by your disability, don't stop her. She has the right to choose. I mean, you're just being too close-minded. I'm sure you'll do the same if you're in the same situation. And obviously, yes, you're the a-hole. Comment number 2. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear about your situation. Losing your legs and dealing with all this relationship drama. Your situation sucks big time. But 6 months might seem fast, don't you think? You didn't have the time to really establish deep connection, so maybe that's why it's easier for your fiancé to leave. And honestly, I think it's quite unfair for Beth's parents to meddle in your relationship like that. They don't know what you two have even been through together. Also, your Instagram post might have been a bit over the board. Anyways, I just hope Beth comes around pretty soon. Update number 1. Hey, it's Lucas again. Thanks for the comments and all the advice. For those who have been saying that I should just respect her decision, I don't know, guys. We were literally about to get married. We're about to promise in front of God to take care of each other for the rest of our lives, but she'll leave me because I lost my legs. I mean, come on, isn't that a bit harsh? If she's leaving me now, even before we get married, what's to stop her from leaving me later, even after tying the knot? And to address the other comments, 6 months does sound pretty quick, and I get what you mean about not having a super deep connection. But we did go through some intense stuff together, you know. I thought it would mean something. As for Beth's parents, yeah. I think they might be sticking their noses where they should not be. They don't even get the full picture. Anyways, Beth called me and she was furious. She straight up told me that our relationship was not going to work, that I could not provide her anymore, and that she did not want anything to do with me. I tried to be calm and begged her to come back, but she's not listening to what I was saying. I can't help but just wonder if her love for me was real. How could she leave me, especially now that I'm in my worst state? Does she want to marry me because of my salary? Why the heck would she leave me just because I cannot walk and go to work? I can find a job without my feet, for God's sake. Days after my conversation with Beth, I'm finally out at the hospital. I'm using a wheelchair to move around now, but I haven't tried going out. Honestly, I'm a bit scared and I'm still adjusting. I've been trying to get my life back together. My savings are running low because of the medical bills, and I can't go back to my old job, which requires a lot of standing and walking. Unfortunately, my injury was not covered by workers' comp since it happened outside of work, but my company did give me a severance pay. Also, a friend told me about Social Security disability insurance to help me, but there's a 5-month waiting period, so I should probably find a new job right away. Anyways, I've been reading your comments and seeking advice from friends and family. I've realized I was being petty and immature. I've been doing my best to win back Beth. I apologize and sent her a bouquet of flowers and her favorite food. Let's just say that online deliveries have become my best of friend. Man, how I miss those dates and trips that we used to go on. I still send her good mornings and good nights, updates and random texts. Sometimes she replies, but most of the time, nothing. Last week, our conversation was getting constant, so I asked Beth to come over to my apartment for dinner, and she agreed. However, her parents found out about our plan, and I guess Beth told them. Just hours before our meetup, Beth told me that she could not make it because her parents urgently needed money for her cousin's hospital bills, so she had to look for money and do babysitting. She even sent me screenshots of her chats with her parents, and they were clearly forcing her not to go with me. But guess what? I looked up her cousin's Instagram and saw that she was on a trip. I knew her parents were lying. Beth apologized and said that we could meet up another time. After that, her parents reached out to me, and it wasn't a pleasant conversation. They told me that I should just leave their daughter alone. Then Beth stopped responding again. I thought everything was going back to normal, and then suddenly, it's not. It just feels like every time I try to reach out to Beth and make an effort, her family seems to be poisoning her mind, insisting that our relationship will not work. I wanted to prove to Beth and her family that I could find work and provide for their daughter. Any advice, guys? What work can an amputee take on? I'm open to suggestions and ideas, and I could surely use your help to get back on my feet. Or, well, where my feet used to be. Update number 2. Hey guys, I just felt that I owe you all an update since you're all a part of my success. It's me, Lucas. It's been almost a year since my last update, and I'm officially not with Beth anymore. But I am a better person, better than ever. After my previous update, Beth did not talk to me at all. Fortunately, I was able to request her to give back the engagement ring I gave her, and she fortunately obliged, which was a relief. Then Beth completely cut me off. She blocked me on all social media platforms, with her family and friends also blocking me, and she managed to move to a different city where she got a new job. Now, the engagement ring. I decided to sell it not because I wanted to get rid of the memories, but because I needed the money to pay the bills and cover my daily expenses. I was able to make ends meet, thankfully, and I managed to live off that, but keep in mind that I saved half the money from the ring in case of emergencies. After all the things that happened, I was devastated and an absolute wreck. It felt like my heart had been ripped out and stomped on, and I could not grasp what was happening to me. I just lost my legs, and now my soon-to-be wife, I had lost my will to live for a moment, and I locked myself in my apartment dependent on deliveries. Heck, even taking showers is so difficult. Then I noticed my money was running out slowly, and that's where it hit me. I could not keep going like this. I had to change. Luckily, I had a great support system that did not leave me. My brother graduated a month after Beth and I separated and decided to move into my apartment. Speaking of which, since the apartment doesn't have an elevator, what a bummer, I decided to move into a ground floor unit that made life a bit easier for me. To the people who were living in my apartment, you guys are an angel sent from heaven. I can now easily go in and out. I could not stand being helpless any longer, so I decided to channel my frustration and pain into something a bit productive. I continued studying software development and searched for free courses on YouTube and did the Odin project and anything I could find. The idea was to use my background in mechanical engineering and a newfound software development skill to develop innovative solutions that could help differently abled individuals like me regain their independence. With some thorough research, I discovered a gap in the market for innovative mobility solutions. So I took a leap of faith and used up half the money from the engagement ring I sold and started a tech startup focused on creating mobile solutions for the differently abled. The business had skyrocketed to global acclaim. We've managed to make life better for countless people, and I'm proud of the impact that we've made and of what I've accomplished, even if it doesn't change the fact that I miss the life I used to have. And sorry, I will not disclose my company and the products to protect my personal information. In fact, the last few weeks have been incredibly busy. My brother and I, along with some hired helpers, have been packing our things because we're about to move to a bigger place. I bought a 4-bedroom modern house with a spacious backyard where I can zoom around with my wheelchair. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the same as running, but that'll have to do. Now, here's where things get interesting. Last week, at the lunch event of my new mobile app, guess who shows up? Beth. showed up and told me that, well, she read about the event and saw my name in it, and so she decided to go. She said that she's been going through some financial issues and is asking for a job in my company. I could not believe my eyes. I could not help but feel a mix of anger and pity. I told her that I would think about it and I would just email her for the update. Should I offer her a job? If yes, what job should I even give her? I was thinking of offering her a job that has something to do with a wheelchair. What do you guys think? I would appreciate any and all suggestions. Update number 3. Hey guys, so it's been about a couple weeks since I've last updated, and I've offered Beth a job, and you might be thinking, why would you do that, Lucas? After all she did to you, after she left you? Well, I've got something special in mind, you see. I want her to truly understand what life is like for people with disabilities, like mine. So I've told her sure, and like what I told you guys in the previous update, it has something to do with a wheelchair. To start things off, I told her that part of her training for this job involves spending a whole month in a wheelchair. Yeah, you read that right, it's a way to make her walk. Well, I guess you should say roll in my shoes. I'm not doing it to be mean. Well, maybe a little. But I wanted to give her a taste of what she never understood when she left me. Beth reluctantly agreed to the whole wheelchair for a month deal. I can't say she's enjoying it, but I'm glad she's getting to experience how I feel every day. Keep in mind that this training only happens within the confines of my company's building. I don't want people staring at her when she accidentally stands on her feet, LOL. She's had to deal with the inaccessible places, people staring, and the frustration of not being able to do simple things without help. It's something I've grown accustomed to over the years, but for her, it was a new and uncomfortable experience. It's eye-opening for her, to say the least. I must admit my experiment wasn't just about helping Beth, but also slightly seeing her struggle. But seeing her struggle made me doubt my decisions. Her family got wind of what I was doing, and they were not happy about it. They've been hounding me with angry messages telling me to stop punishing her. Of course, I ignored them because their daughter had willingly accepted the challenge. I had to block them to have some peace. Moving on, Beth's training is about to end, and I still don't know what kind of job I can offer her. I was thinking of putting her to customer service, given that she was previously a front desk clerk. Beth had been acting strangely for the past few days, and I could not quite put my finger on what it was. She'd been unusually chatty, so I found out that one of her coworkers, a fellow Filipino, plotted some evil acting at the cost of her job. Filipinos and their weird things, but that's a story for a different time. Now back to Beth. Just yesterday, she approached me and invited me. She wanted to take me out to dinner as a token of appreciation for giving her a job. This girl is weird. So, what do you guys think of my plan? I'm still just thinking of other things I can just do to make her, well, I don't know, should I give her a normal job? I'm open to any suggestions or advice you guys have. Cheers! Top comments from that post. Comment number 1. Hey OP, Pinoy here. I agree with you about OFWs turning on each other. Anyways, I get that you wanted her to experience being in the same shoes as you, but this whole wheelchair thing seems a bit insensitive. Maybe there's a better way to make her understand without putting her through this. But hey, it's your call, man. Anyways, since Beth's been through a lot, maybe it's time to make her an offer for a job to start fresh. You know, taking her out to dinner wouldn't hurt anyone too. At least this sounds like a good icebreaker to me, and this would be a good opportunity to discuss what's next. Just hope you're not thinking of getting back into some romantic thing with her. LOL, good luck with whatever you decide, man. Final update. What's up? It's Lucas here again. I know. Not sure, but I think this will be my last update considering, spoiler alert, I officially banned Beth in my life. Here's how it went. So this was what happened during our appreciation dinner. Beth invited me to a fancy dinner at my own office building. It was a Friday night, the last day of her wheelchair month. She ordered food from this fancy dinner nearby, and I was actually offering to pay for it since I remembered that she doesn't have a job. So I figured she didn't have money. Anyways, She did not accept my offer. Everything was a bit odd, but hey, I went along with it. Also, free dinner. A staff helped Beth arrange the office and all the food, and as we entered my office, she was nervous. Super nervous, which seemed kind of odd. We were already eating, and I was telling her about my plan to offer her a customer service position when she suddenly excused herself to go to the restroom. Seems like a standard move, right? Is the crap already leaking, or is she guilty that I'm even offering her a job? Well, that's where things get even more interesting. She must have been in a hurry because she accidentally left her phone on the table, and I saw it right there just sitting, and the little devil inside me could not resist to snoop around for a bit. Don't judge me too harshly, please. You know that you'd been tempted too. It was locked, but a message popped on her screen that said, "What do you want? That's a lot of money. You don't need to work. Just say you want to go back to the Philippines." Well, that was what I could read, but in Filipino. So I took a picture of it. I did not understand it at the moment, but I knew that pira meant money. She came back from the restroom, and I handed her the phone without saying anything about what I'd seen. We continued with dinner, and I could not help but think about the meaning of Beth's parents' message. When she left, I looked for the translation of the message and asked some friends who knew Tagalog. I was appalled by what it meant. Her parents told her to get back together with me because I can now provide for her to the point that she doesn't have to work. Wow, what a surprise. This is sarcasm if you can't tell. So guess what I did? I immediately banned her from the company on Monday. I saw from the CCTV footage how she entered the building but was immediately ushered out by security guards without a single clue of what was happening. Yeah, she deserved that. Grand revenge might be tempting, but I'm now more focused on growing my company and living my life, and I did not let her or her family's antics affect me at all. Imagine if Beth did not excuse herself or left her phone, or if I did not see the message. Who knows? What if we got back together? I didn't know that she was a gold digger. Well, dodged a bullet there. I want to give a big shout out to all of you for being there for me, for following my story and sharing your thoughts and advice. Seriously, you guys have been a big part of how things turned out for me, and I'm truly thankful for that. If it weren't for your support and encouragement, who knows how my life would have turned out.
Man, you know what? I don't know if I should feel bad for Lucas for all the stuff that he's gone through in his life, or just be cheering for him because he handles everything like an absolute pro. Okay guys, I want to know your thoughts about Beth. Everybody realizes that she was just doing it for the financial gain towards the end of the story when she was getting back and talking more with Lucas. But I do want to know your thoughts if you think Lucas went a bit too far using the wheelchair method, as he described it, by having her be in a wheelchair for 30 days straight so she can kind of wrap her mind around what it's like to live in a wheelchair. I want to know your thoughts about that, guys. Did OP Lucas go too far, or do you think that was completely justified based on the situation? Thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Mr. Reddito, and if you guys are new to the channel, just know I narrate stories just like today's every single day. So if you want to be a part of these daily stories, all you gotta do is click that subscribe button, which should be like right about somewhere down here. And if you do click that, go ahead and click the bell notifications as well. That way, YouTube will pop up a notification whenever a new story is ready to be heard. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and just remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.